Guys, thousands of people are moving to Canada every month, but only a few understand how the express entry system works. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a complete breakdown in simple, plain English. My name is Julius, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I've helped several individuals and families move to Canada in a stress-free and professional way. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys details of how the express entry system works, update for express entry in 2025 and in the near future, eligibility criteria, as well as how to improve your chances for the express entry system if your chances is low for express entry. So you want to click on the subscribe button right away if you have interest of moving to Canada, or you are interested in watching more of Canadian immigration update and content. So what is express entry? Express entry is a system that manages 4 Canadian immigration programs, namely the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, the Canadian Experience Class, and the Enhanced Provincial Nomination Program. So there are different requirements for these 4 different programs that I mentioned earlier on, but generally speaking, you need to have at least 1 year work experience for the Federal Skilled Worker Program and the Canadian Experience Class, whereby the Canadian Experience Class requires that experience have to be inside Canada. For the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the experience can be outside Canada. On top of that, if you're applying for the Federal Skilled Trades Program, you also need at least 2 years work experience within the last 5 years. And also, you need to have valid English language or French language test that tests your competency in English language or French language. You also need to have your credentials evaluated, your educational credentials evaluated through a process called Educational Credentials Assessment. You need to have work experience within a certain tier level. So every occupation in Canada is categorized through the National Occupational Classification, whereby tier level 0, 1, 2, or 3 is the higher end of the spectrum, and while you have 4 and 5 at the lower end. So 4 and 5, tiers 4 and 5 are not eligible for express entry, but if you have work experience that happen to be grouped under tier level 0, 1, or 3, 2 or 3, then you are eligible. That's an eligible experience for express entry. You also need to have proof of funds, settlement funds that covers yourself and your family. So even if you have a Canadian child or a Canadian spouse, your proof of funds needs to also cover these individuals of your family. Also, your family and yourself have to be admissible to Canada. So that means your spouse and your children. That's the definition of family when it comes to Canadian immigration. They have to be admissible. That basically means having decent medical records, as well as not serious criminal offense. And some criminal offense can also may not be serious in terms of your own definition, but it can also affect your chances for express entry. The comprehensive ranking system ranks every candidate in the express entry pool. So despite meeting the minimum requirements for the express programs that I mentioned before, you also would have a particular CRS or comprehensive ranking score. So that tells you how good you are or how well positioned you are in terms of an invitation to apply for Canadian PR through express entry. So factors like age, if you want to say, if you are between say 20 to 35, that's a very good position to be for express entry. But if you are older than that, that's not the end of the road. You can still be able to get more points through other factors. Your level of education can also give you good amount of points for express entry, as well as your ranking for express entry. Your work experience also matters as well. Whether foreign experience or Canadian experience, the more number of years of experience that you have, the higher your chances for this express entry invitation to apply for PR. Spouse factor is also very essential as well. Your spouse can also contribute points for you through their level of education, as well as their language ability, and also if they have family members in Canada as well. That can also give you points for express entry and ranking for the CRS invitation to apply for PR. And also Canadian education and Canadian work experience can also boost your chances for express entry. ITA, provisional nomination can also give you 600 additional points to boost your chances for an invitation to apply, which is also called an ITA. Also, work experience in Canada can also help you, whether your spouse giving you that work contributing points to that work experience, or yourself having that work experience. You can also claim additional points based off of that. So we have seen that most people get invited to apply, anywhere between the upper 400s and the early 500s. But if your score is not up to that yet, do not panic, do not worry, because there are some certain things you can also do to boost your chances for an invitation to apply for PR. Express entry is evolving. Express entry is changing. The Canadian government is now prioritizing those who can get an invitation to apply for Canadian permanent residency through express entry. So we are seeing folks in healthcare, STEM occupations, skilled trades, French-speaking professionals, educators, agricultural workers, and so on get prioritized for express entry invitation to apply for permanent residency. So even if your CRS score is low, your comprehensive ranking score is low, you can still be targeted with a relatively lower cutoff just because you have certain work experience for Canadian PR. Now, you only need 6 months work experience within the last 3 years for you to be prioritized under the occupational groups that I mentioned earlier on. Depending on your profile, there are a couple of ways you can improve your comprehensive ranking score to secure an invitation to apply for Canadian permanent residency faster. So some ways include improving your English language test results, also considering taking the French language test examination after improving your French language skills, getting a provincial nomination which can guarantee you 600 points to apply for Canadian permanent residency through express entry, also claiming points from your spouse, so your spouse can give you additional points from their English language or French language performance, as well as work experience in Canada. And lastly, their educational credentials can also give you points through express entry. Also claiming points from a relative in Canada. If you have a relative who's going to be getting permanent residency soon or currently living in Canada, can give you additional points to boost your CRS score for express entry. Also considering taking a short course in Canada, or just generally improving yourself, going for a college diploma or a master's degree or even a bachelor's degree can also give you some good amount of boost. Also considering working in Canada, so when you study in Canada or you get a job offer, you can come to Canada and work, and when you have a skilled work experience, that can also give you a good amount of points that can boost your comprehensive ranking score for express entry. You do not need to guess. Do not guess. Just follow proper legal guidance. So guys, there are big mistakes that I see a lot of folks make when it comes to applying for Canadian permanent residency through the express entry system. Some of them include mistakes in your application forms or documents, missing information or documents, also submitting expired or invalid documentation, and relying on agents that do not know how the process works or people that don't know how the process works. So this is the point, that this is your future, right? You don't want to risk it. You don't want to guess about things that can actually change your future. So work with someone who understand how the process works to avoid mistakes that will compromise your chances of getting Canadian permanent residency through express entry. If you're interested in coming to Canada through express entry or any other PR pathway, do not try to guess through this process. Do not try to figure things all by yourself. That's the reason why you have me here, to guide and support you through this whole process, for you to have a stress-free process in coming to Canada. Thank you very much for watching this video for the very end. It was a pleasure having you here. Like and share this video and click on the subscribe button. And if you need a private section with me, click the link on the bio for a one-on-one consultation with me. Thank you.